Marlena,
Yes.
tell me, where are you from?
Originally from Poland and from little town Pawienice. It's near Łódź. It's quite center of the Poland.
Population?
The same about Harlow, I think. It's the town itself is a bit small. I think Harlow is more spread out, but population-wise, it's the same.
So those early years growing up, can you paint a picture of your town, your house, your family?
Early years, I think it was so much different than it is in UK at the moment. So we lived on the outskirts of the town, so more closer to the village life in the attached house. I think the biggest difference between Poland and UK is that you don't really get a lot of terraced houses. So most houses, they self-contained detached houses with a little garden, but we lived quite close to the countryside, so it was definitely more freedom, because I remember even at the age of 8 I was allowed to walk to school by myself, which was about 20 minutes walk, so it wasn't just down the road, but you felt safe to let your child walk to school. And my summer holidays was mostly going on a bike rides with my friends through the forest and the villages and the countryside, so I think it was more calmer and more back to nature. That's what I think. It's like when I think about my childhood, it's more nature.
What about school? What were your favourite subjects at school, and what type of student were you?
Funny enough, I have dyslexia. So at primary school, I wasn't really good student. I was maybe just about reaching age-related expectations. And in Poland, you actually start school when you're older. So you start when you're 7, and you've got 7 years primary school, and then you've got 4 years of kind of secondary school, but it's more like high school in US. And then you go on to university. So in primary school, I was middle student, and then I think something clicked in when I went to the high school, and then I became straight A student and went on to study biochemistry.
All right. So, and the world you live in now is a world of stats or facts or sitting guilds you mentioned.
Yes.
And so tell us about your when you were at university and how did that go?
So I did the biochemistry degree in Poland. I never worked in biochemistry even one day in my life, because straight after that I came to the UK, and I started my journey in the UK. So then, as everyone, I started with a job in a shop, but then I did my marketing degree. And then went on to find my first office job and kind of progressed, and then did my finance degree and the last one MBA. So it's all about numbers.
I've only met you about half an hour ago,
Yeah.
but even the conversation before camera, you come across as a very ambitious and driven person.
Yes.
Where did you get that from?
My grandma. She was because my mom was severely disabled, so I was raised purely by my grandma. So it was, and my dad left when I was very young. So I was raised by my grandma, and I think when I was born, she was already 52. So I think it was a big struggle at that age to look after my mom and me. So, but I think she was very fierce and opinionated woman, and she knew what she needs to do. So I think I can see a lot of her in me. So the ambition and the drive is definitely from her.
Go back to home life for a second or so, and we've asked a lot of people about this. Home life, cooking, food. Was your grandmother a cook?
Yes, she was excellent cook, and she made, because my grandfather, he died when I was 8, but he was a butcher. So it will be very unpopular opinion probably, but we ate a lot of meat, and my grandma knew how to prepare every single different kind of meat, even to the disgust of my husband, because once she served him rabbit and he didn't realize, but it was so good that he ate it, and then she told him, and then he couldn't believe that it was that. So I think, yes, she was really good cook, and she could cook really well. Lots of different dishes.
Leaping into Harlow life for a second as well, you've really got involved in the Harlow community. Could you tell us what organisations you've got involved with, And why?
The first organization I got involved with was I became governor of a Net Academies Trust, and then within 2 or 3 years I became the chair of governors, and then I got recommended to become governor of the secondary school, so I became governor of BMAT Academies, and then very quickly I progressed to become vice chair of 2 secondary schools. And then I think because I work for City and Guilds, it's different type of education. It's vocational education and apprenticeship, but it's all around education. I think, as I said, I've got myself a few degrees and I'm lifelong learner. I think I will never stop learning and I will always try to improve myself. So I'm very passionate about education. So that's why I think everything I get involved with is somehow interlinked with education, and that's why I also got involved in the Rainbow Services charity, because one of part of the activities is working with young people and providing actually City and Guilds qualifications. So I also became trustee of the Rainbow charity recently.
And a lot of the senior head teachers we've discussed off camera, and now we'll do now, is people like Helena Mills, Jo Coton, Laura Sifty, Dee Conlon, all strong female role models. That's important, isn't it? Yes,
I think, as we discussed, I like strong female role models who know what they're doing. They've got good knowledge, but also they're not afraid to take actions, even if when they know it's the right decision for the school or for the child, they're not afraid to take the action, even if it's not the popular opinion. And I think that's what needed, because if we don't take action, nothing is going to change. If you just try to please everyone, nothing will ever change. You sometimes need someone strong to come and make the change happen.
When was the last time you went back to Poland?
I personally went before COVID. It was 2019. My husband went last year and he's going back this year with the kids. I'm staying behind with the dogs. We've got 3 little dogs, so I'm staying behind, but also because my grandma and my mom died a couple of years ago, so I have and I'm the only child, so I have no living relatives in Poland, and he still has his parents, so it's more important for him to go back than for me, so he can see his parents. But we used to go a lot before COVID. We used to actually drive a lot, and we would take the dogs and the kids and we would just drive. We would go at least 3-4 times a year, but I think now it's a bit more difficult, but we still try to go 2-3 times a year so the kids can see grandparents.
There's often times in Poland's history where it's changed, incredibly so. How has Poland changed in your lifetime?
Yes, I think the biggest change was when we joined the European Union. That's also around the time when I came back here, and I think not only has the Polish economy really benefited from joining European Union, but also culturally, I think there was this very closed culture before we joined the European Union, where I think now the exchange, even of students, exchange of people, and people being free to travel, the culture is changing. It's more open. It's Poland is taking on more Western cultures like Halloween. Or we've never had that. We had our one is similar to Halloween, is in February, but now people starting to celebrate normal Halloween. So I think it's all, but I think the biggest change is the culture is definitely much more open to other cultures and religion and people from different countries.
Are your children aware of their Polish culture?
Yes,
and heritage?
they sound British, but they still keep saying that they're Polish. They both bilingual. They speak Polish, and English is their first language because they go to school in England, and it's difficult to keep the Polish as their first language. We speak to them in Polish at home, but their first language is English. But yes, they're very proud Poles, and they always say that they're Polish and British, and they love their grandparents.
And you can be both, can't you?
Yeah, you can. We've got we British citizens and Polish, so we didn't have to give the Polish citizenship when we become UK citizens.
But for you and your family, where's home?
I think it's now, I have to say it's now in the UK. I think my husband would argue, and for him it's still Poland. And I think it's the thing of having, because he still has his parents and his brother in Poland, he's got much more connection. Where for me, this year is exactly half of my life I've been living in Poland and half of my life in UK. And I think I would call UK my home now, and specifically Harlow.
But if I went to your house, is there anything in there, and I'd go, a Polish family live here?
Yes, I definitely have. My grandma used to collect loads of, it's not really communism era home appliances, let's put it this way, but she used to travel a lot. When she was my age, so that was still in communism, and I've got loads of antiques from her. So I've got one, it's like the coffee maker, which you boil the water at the bottom and then you put the kettle. So yes, I've got all those, or I've got those special candles from which she brought from Bulgaria. So I've got some stuff that screams sweet Polish.
And I'm going to go back to food for a second, because I asked somebody else I interviewed, Renata,
Yeah.
and I asked her if she went to the delicatessens, the Polish delicatessens, and if so, is there one particular food stuff that you would like to get?
Yes, my nettle tea. That's something for my grandma. She used to drink nettle tea, so I always go to get the nettle tea. The kids really like the Polish bread, so we still can get used to the British bread. So we go and get the British bread and the Polish sausages. I don't think the kids will ever get used to the British ones.
But and finally, my final question is: do you mix with other Polish people in Harlow, or you simply mix with other people in Harlow?
I think we mix with other people. We've got Polish friends, but I think equally we've got more friends from other background, and it's not just British friends. We've got friends from Cyprus, friends from Romania, friends from India. So I think we mix with just people we like. It doesn't matter where you're from, as long as we get along. We mix with everyone and have variety of friends.
Marlena, thank you very much.
You're welcome.